Welcome back to the Fort Steele Heritage Town production blacksmith shop. Today we're going to be making one of these little contraptions. This is a steak turner for flipping steaks anywhere you would want to cook a steak. So let's head into the shop and get started. Alrighty, so making a steak turner today, what I have here is a piece of 1/4 inch square mild steel stock cut at 30 inches long. I do 30 inches because it gives you a little bit of reach with the steak turner if you're going to do it over an open fire, but it's also short enough to be used on a barbecue, and of course other lengths are available to custom orders. To start off the steak turner, what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a square taper on one end of the stick, and I'm going to do a flat taper on the other. The flat taper is going to be for when I curl the handle, and the square taper is going to be for the actual turner for the steak turner. Let's get started. Alrighty, coming from the heat, I'm going to bring my steel to the edge of my anvil, and I'm going to hold it at a slight angle, just to give it enough that when I hit it with my hammer, it'll also taper from the other side. And then angling my hammer hits, I can start taking that almost into a nice point. Back to the heat. All right. And I have a nice square taper. Alrighty, coming out of the heat. Now to do a flat taper, I'm going to do all the same steps, and I'm going to bring it to the edge of my anvil. This time laying it flat, and then I'm going to turn it 90 degrees onto its side, and I'm not going to taper it. I'm just going to flatten it out while tapering only one side. And you can see there, I have a little bit of a taper, but it's only on one side. I do it that way so that when I go to make a handle and I curl it, it's all nice and tapered one way, but it's not going to be too sharp like a square taper is going to be. Alrighty, let's make a little hook on our steak turner now. Alrighty, coming from the heat, gotta give my steel a good little brush there. I'm going to bring my steel all the way over the edge of the anvil, about where I want the length of my hook, and I'm going to start bending it. Now to get a nice bend, you have to go back and forth from the side of the anvil to the top to make sure your material doesn't twist too much. And there you can see, I have a nice, almost 90-degree bend in the steel. Now to heat it back up and curl it. Okay, now I'm going to bring my steel back to the anvil, and I'm going to hold it out so the bit of the taper is showing out. Bring it to the horn and start giving it a little curl. This step is ultimately the hardest because steel, holding it in this way, it doesn't really want to curl too much. So really, wherever I can get a little bit of leverage on it to curl it, that's where I'm going to hold it. More heat. You can see we're getting a nice little curl there. One more heat, we should be able to do it. And there we have it. A nice little curl on our steak turner. Alrighty, now that it's all nice and hot, we're going to pinch it and just wrap it around. As you can see, we have a nice little ring now. All right, now I'm going to take this smaller pipe out and put in a slightly larger pipe jig. Taking my steel, and I'm going to grab right at the bottom of this little circle here and begin moving that one around. And instead of closing the loop, this time I'm going to run it underneath and keep pulling it until I don't have heat left to do so. As you can see, I have a weird figure eight kind of right now. Now I'm going to put it back in a heat, finish that little curl up, pull it straight. Alrighty, that little circle is complete. And then I'm just going to grab it and pull it a little bit straight. This step requires quite a bit of fiddling to get everything nice and perfect. We'll do one more heat just to be able to work that a little bit more. And then we'll have a nice little shape. All right, now that we have a little bit of heat, I'm going to lock this into my vise. And all I'm going to do is I'm going to tinker with this with my tongs until I feel it's straight enough and appeasing to the eye enough to call it a finished handle. And then to the anvil quickly. All right, now with a little bit of heat, I'm going to bring my steak turner into my vise. I'm going to lock it in, and I'm going to use a little modified monkey wrench here. I'm just going to clamp it down on there, and I'm going to start twisting. Just to give this thing a little bit of shape, and then I'm going to make sure I line up everything with the handle. You can see it's got a nice twist. That's it. Alrighty, now you can see we have a finished little steak turner. We have a nice little hook on the front so that when you have a steak, pretend my hand is a steak, in a frying pan or on a grill, barbecue, open fire, what have you, You can stab it into the corner, hook it, and give a quick flick of the wrist, and it'll flip your steak over. We gave it a little twist for a little bit of added flair, and then we gave it this nice little, almost figure-8 shaped handle. Well, thanks for joining us today at the Fort Steele Heritage Town Production Blacksmith Shop. You can find more blacksmithing videos and other awesome content on our YouTube channel. Make sure to check us out on Facebook and Instagram, and as always, have an awesome day.